Ready when you are.
Danielle froze. Don't know why Danielle froze there. Hello. So another guest.
No.
The infamous Danielle, who everybody's. Do you like? I should have stingied that. I'll say hi in a minute. I'm concentrating my pom. I should have delegated that there. The infamous Danielle, who Danielle doesn't realise how much I've spoken about her unless she listens to the podcast every week. Danielle gets spoken about every week on this podcast. And I'm actually dreading this one, and I did say it a couple of weeks ago. I'm dreading it because Danielle's threatened to say a few things about me that I don't want her to say, and it's nothing bad, but it's nothing bad in the grand scheme of things, but it makes me look it looks me look more stupid than what I've already told everybody. So I need subtitles for this one because the two of us are from Glasgow. So Danielle wants to give everybody a wee message. What's that?
Merry Christmas!
That wasn't how you said you were going to say it. Oh my God, don't even. Usually I'm going to come on and we're going to be like, it's Christmas. And then she shut her pants. How can you be like that? But because you do karaoke and sing on boats, in pubs and everything else, you're talking to your pal and then you want to be a wee shitty baggy. Answers on a postcard.
God, I'm shy.
You're a Santa's watching. I need to watch what I'm saying. You're an absolute
I am very
liar. Do you want me to tell some stories about you? Because if you're going to say some stories about me, I will say stories about you. So anyway, right, before we get into the storytelling and grassing each other up for things, I don't know what's going on with me. And by the way, my voice might not hold out because we've got a chest infection going on today. Danielle lives in Turkey, which I keep getting that messy bit in the back of my living room in, and I need to stop. Danielle lives in Turkey, which I think's rather rude, with her husband and her two, I would say, children. I'm not sure one of them's human. I do think she is spawned from a gremlin, as in Gizmo. Yeah. I'm not saying she's ugly, but she's mental. This is true.
I was going to say, watch what you're saying now. You'll come after you the night.
But no, this child is crazy. I'm not going to say on here what I normally say to Danielle because I might get a wee bit of hate for it. But anyway,
yeah, we have to be careful. Remember, it's not just
so how long have you lived in, like, full time lived in Turkey now? 10 years? No. Wait, so 2010 you met you met Sheriff at the end of 2010. Here.
Yeah.
Because you used to go for summer, but you went every summer. You went every summer, but you came back for every winter. But then you met Sheriff at the end of 2010 because I met an absolute walloper. If you know, you know. At the beginning of that year. Yeah. So that year worked for one of us but didn't work for the other one. So happy for you. But did you move?
My first time here all year round was 2009. And then I was here all 2009 and then met Sheriff in 2010.
I don't think that's true. No, that can't be true. And I'll tell you for why. Yeah. Because see, in February 2010, I went to Ireland. I'm not going to say why. You know why I went to Ireland, because I met that other person in March 2010. But remember, I went to Ireland, and you were working for me at that point.
For 6 weeks. I had a 6-week holiday.
But you were working for me at that point when I worked at.
Aye, but remember, I had a 6 weeks holiday. Came back.
Right, anyway, and that, right, okay, so that confused me. Well, I don't know when she moved. She says 1 year, I say different. But you used to still come back.
Well, that's actually, you just like, I came back.
I think it was 2011, you think it was 2009, so there's 2 years of difference here.
No, because remember, I lost my granddad 2009, I didn't come back that winter.
You were working for me that winter, Pat?
Remember?
I don't remember anything for last week, so don't ask me to remember anything for
But I was only
2009.
in for 6 weeks.
Well, I don't remember that. Listen,
I
we're
was
not
only in- I
having,
had
we're
the
not
same
having a
for 6
domestic
weeks.
on a podcast.
Mhm.
Anyway, she met Sheriff at the end of
Yes,
2010.
not today.
November 2010, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Poor Sheriff.
Yes.
God love him. Puts up with that every day.
November 2010.
See, I remember some things. I just don't
Aye.
remember an awful lot. And then, when did you fall pregnant with yours first? We ain't mentioning children's names on here. Just saying I don't ever mention children's names unless I'm allowed.
2013.
Unlucky for some. Unlucky for me, that was the first time I became single for that person.
Yeah, I get married in 2013 and I fell pregnant.
There's a rolling theme here. 2010 was good for you, bad for me. I mean, it was good. It turned out to be bad for me. 2013 was good for you. It was really bad for me because that was one of the first times they were going to section me.
Yeah.
I can laugh about it now because it's in my past.
Yeah.
So Danielle was away enjoying herself. She was getting a wee bit of hanky-panky and I was getting put in
positive thing.
I was getting put in one of the hospitals. But
you were sitting with a box of hankies.
I was rotten. Literally rotten. Listen, it is what it is with my mental health. My mental health goes up and down and run roundabouts and roller coasters and everything else. I just laugh about it now because I know when it's bad and when it's good. And I also know because there's people that use my mental health against me as well. Do you know what I mean? Like that person who I was in that relationship with, they would use it. There was also a friend that I don't talk to anymore. She would use it for her own advantage as well, but that's by the by. Listen, that people do that to you. So 2013 you had your first, and then but you came back here to give birth, didn't you?
Yes.
Because
I was an only daughter and it wouldn't be fair to my mum and dad.
But also part of it was although you speak fluent Turkish, that was a bit of a concern for you in that moment because obviously you wouldn't be in the right headspace. Plus, Sheriff wouldn't have been allowed in the birthing room, would he?
No, they don't allow that here. Sheriff wasn't here actually. Sheriff was in Dubai working.
So he was, that's right.
That was one of my reasons I came back as well.
He's not daft.
So I came back to have.
And that's when the first devil child was born, but she's actually turned into a semi-angel.
Well, come on.
All right. Tell her Santa's watching.
Yeah, she's like a mammy.
That's not a good thing. I keep forgetting to put my phones on silent, so then the real devil child, when was she conceived? The devil child of all devil children.
She was conceived 2017.
And you came back to have her as well. But you still came back every winter, didn't you?
Our birthdays are January.
You wanted the two because
after Harmony, I never know.
No, that's not what I was going to say. You wanted the two of them to have their birthday, so the day of their birthday to kind of tie in with the year they were born, wouldn't they? So Harmony was born 2018, you wanted her born on the 18th, didn't you?
Aye.
Because Melanie's birthday.
Right, aye.
See, I do remember some things. I do listen sometimes.
Her birthdays.
But that didn't happen, and she was raging.
Yeah.
And then, so before that you came
Harmony
back.
decided to come 3 days later.
Well, listen, she starts as she means to go on because she's never done anything she's meant to do since then. And I'm feared for her. I am absolutely terrified of this child. Like, it's terrible to say,
We
but
did actually just say it 2 minutes ago. We were mentioning children's names.
I'll take that bit out.
We've just said that about 5 times.
Will we start again?
It's fine.
I'll do a bleep. I don't know how to do a bleep. I'll do a bleep.
No, it's fine.
Right. We only say her name because we're trying to warn people to stay away from her. She's mental. Right, we're not saying her name again. She was born here as well, wasn't she?
We'll use Hurricane and Poppet. Yes.
And one thing too. What was that? Was it?
Yeah.
What was that? What's Cat in the Hat? Isn't it?
Aye. I don't know. I've never seen that.
She was born here. What?
Yes, Harmony. Aye. I wait to say her name again.
You did tell me. I'm getting out of trouble and it wasn't even my fault. Was that the last winter you came here? For the full winter?
Yes. Yeah. But I didn't have an option with her. Obviously, everything that happened after Harmony's birth was I left my placenta inside me. I had to stay a wee bit longer than intended.
You done it again?
Yes.
Right. I'm going to change the subject in a minute, but the reason I started talking about that was because you used to come back here for Christmas so that you could spend Christmas with your mum and dad and the kids, because they don't celebrate Christmas in Turkey, do they?
Well, it's more modernised now. A lot of people celebrate it now. Like
But the kids still go to school on Christmas Day, don't they? Although I know you're trying to take them out on Christmas Day, but you need to ask for permission and everything.
Aye, there's no school holidays and that. It's only New Year's Day you get off. But
Right.
schools here are very different to schools back home because we get the full summer holidays off. So we get like 3 months in the summer for the school holidays. So we start in June.
Don't think I'd want my baby to sit in. I don't think I'd be wanting them to sit in the class at 50 something degrees. I don't know if it's Celsius or Fahrenheit because I don't know the difference between the. Well, I know there is a difference, but I don't know what one's what. Because I'm that daft. But
aye, so we get the full summer.
But when you came back, when you stopped, one of the reasons you also stopped coming back for Christmas was because your mum took Noel.
Yes.
And then,
so Mary had started school and my mum and dad started coming to me for Christmas.
Is it nothing?
Oh, aye.
If you know, you know.
Aye, that's not it. Then they started coming to me, and then my mum took really no well, and COVID struck.
See, that's the thing, right? So this is the thing about COVID. I can see something in my hair. I know it affected people loads of different ways, right? And you had to stay indoors, but nobody ever thought about the people that their families lived abroad. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know people that lived in Australia or whatever else, and they've lost like parents in 2020. And they couldn't come back for the funeral because if they came back, they wouldn't be allowed back in that country, but they had kids in that country and they'd be separated from them, so they had to watch their parents' funeral online on a computer like this, which I think is disgusting.
So the rules are crazy. Well, this is how she'd have had to watch my mum and dad's funeral.
Aye. And then obviously your mum passed away in the August. What year was that? 2022 one. And then your dad just wasn't coping to know it without your mum, because your mum definitely was the boss in that house until my youngest went in. Yeah.
Told you just, well,
He's coming
we've
for
got
you.
a lot of bleeding to do already.
Aye, so my youngest, but we'll get to that bit later, because he terrorised everybody as a child. He's not quite that, it's not that bad anymore, I promise, but he has his moments if you really, really, really break him. He'll come for you. But aye, so your dad really struggled. Like, he really, really missed your mum, although your mum, like, I'm not going to say she bullied him, but she definitely gave him what for. Maybe that's what he missed, getting into trouble all the time and getting told what he was allowed to do and what he wasn't allowed to do, because he just, in a sense, went off the rails. He wasn't living the way you should have been living, or the way you had been living before that, didn't he? And he wasn't listening to anything anybody was saying.
Aye, didn't he? He liked to, how do you explain it? He
was his own worst enemy.
Yes, he liked to do things. He didn't like to do things by the book.
No.
So he liked to get in trouble for it.
But everybody deals with grief differently, and I said that to you at the time. Like, your dad would, like, he's old school, so when he was younger and working, he was probably of the same sort of era as my uncle, where they would come in for, instead of coming straight home for work, they'd go to the pub for a pint, but it was never just a pint. And then that spirals, and then it gets out of control. Not saying your dad was an alcoholic or anything like that, but my uncle was.
He was. Like,
I'm not going to say they were.
Was.
Aye. But
then
it's hard.
No, he'd become him and have his bath, and then he'd go to the pub.
Aye.
Like, he'd come into his work, have his bath, and then go straight to the pub. As soon as my dad turned the corner, you knew it was 9 o'clock, and everybody knew it was 9 o'clock, because that's how they knew at the time. My dad turned that corner, and it was 9 o'clock. We Joe's got to the pub.
Mm-hmm. That's mad, isn't it? Like, my uncle, I laugh, so I'm trying not to get my messy house in, because I've been backside of doing my shit. So my uncle would go and say, just go in for a wee walk round the block, and then he'd walk in. So he'd be walking up his hall, but he'd have his hand behind his back, and he'd be walking like that, like sideways with his wee bag behind his back. And he thought none of his knew what was behind his back. And his wee walk, I did go a wee walk round the block, but his wee walk round the block, he passed a North licence on that wee walk round the block. God love him.
Right.
And the wee bag was shuffling behind him, but you could hear the back rattling. But you knew, and then we're going to get him out of trouble, because it is an illness, and nobody was going to say it. But he just didn't want you to know that he had that wee bottle there, and you just had to ignore it for him to an extent. But I'll not say anything bad about that uncle, because I loved him to bits, and he was like my world. Do you know what I mean? But he's not here anymore either. But your dad had to drink quite bad after your mum passed, and you tried to keep saying, I mean, you were trying to kind of ration, right, you can have this many drinks a day, and then it would cause arguments for 2 years, because he's like, you can't tell me what to do, this is my house.
Yeah. He had to drink really bad after Gavin, but after my mum, he just couldn't cope at all.
Gavin's Danielle's brother, who passed away in a bad accident in Turkey when he was 15. Aye. What age were you? 12? 10? 15. I didn't know Danielle back then. Say that again.
13.
Which that really, really affected your dad, because he wouldn't go to Turkey. He wouldn't step foot in Turkey, and he didn't until many, I mean, you had kids before he stepped foot in Turkey, and you... It's a shame.
He came back for the court cases and that, and then he just couldn't come back at all. And then it was 2018, I think, was his first year to step back in here. Aye.
But again, that was part of your mum, because she kept saying to him, if you don't come here, you're not going to see your grandkids, blah, 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 at Christmas and whatever else. I'm going whether you go or no. And I think it kind of gave your dad a wee bit of a realisation, right, wait a minute, Danielle isn't going to just come home this year, so I'm not going to get to see them. Whereas he was used to...
So what actually happened was he get used to Melody being in the house for Christmas because I was going back every
That's
Christmas
what I mean.
to Melody.
And you're not
And
going
the
to just go
first
back
year
there.
that I wasn't going back, that's when he came here.
Mm-hmm.
We had a talk and we told him, like, no, it's time you need to not forget what happened in the past, but you need to move on as well. Like,
You need to start a new chapter in life, I suppose.
we need to make new memories with his grandkids, even though this place is hard. It's hard for him to come back to. And when he did come back his first time, I loved it.
And that's the thing, isn't it? And then you sit and think, you could have been having all this fun all that time, but that's easy for us to say. We weren't in his mindset. Again, everybody deals with grief differently, and that wasn't just grief. He lost his son, he lost him in tragic circumstances. But after your mum and him hitting the drink, then he took Noel quite a few months later, didn't he? And then
with my ma, he took Noel when I brought him back here. I brought him here for a few weeks, remember?
That's
I brought
right.
him here for 6 or 8 weeks.
Just so that he wasn't in the house himself all the time.
And then when he went back, he just gave up.
It's heartbreaking because he was such a nice guy. And it's funny because him and your mum were polar opposites of each other. Your mum was like the matriarch and her rules went. And then you had wee Joe, who was just a wee tiny framey a man. Don't get me wrong, he could go back as good as he got, but Helen definitely ruled the roost.
Definitely.
So, was it March he passed away?
Yeah. He did tell us, he told us at my mum's, he gave himself 6 months and he lasted 7.
And that's it. And although he was unwell, I think a big part of it was a broken heart.
Definitely.
And it's funny because you watch, I think especially couples feel like generations before us, and you see how much maybe the wife tells the guy what to do and like getting them out of trouble, and you see them bickering all the time, but you can see that love there. And although you don't want to live with something that you're constantly arguing with, at the same time, like the minute they lose that person, their whole world's gone. You can see there's just this blankness about them, and you can see they're empty. It's that whole catch-22 into like, because they're arguing, but it's no the kind of arguing that we know these days, which can be quite vile. It can be disgusting. Their arguing is completely different. Their arguing is just
it was different, but like
the wee wife is the boss, and the guy's trying to take back some of his power, and she's like, not a chance. Give me your wallet, and I will dictate to you what's happening.
Old school was different for what it is now. Like old school,
people don't. I think it was the episode that went out the day, which is, what day is this? Monday. So the Christmas second episode of the Christmas episodes, I spoke about this with Ellie, and it's like, I think to an extent morals and things like that have went out the window now. Like, I'm not trying to be I'm better or anybody's better or things are crap these days. There's a lot of things that are a lot better, but morally things are so much worse because people don't take relationships as serious. People, like, they just think, well, if I get married, I'll just get divorced. They just think they can do whatever they want and they can walk away from it, and there's no comeback, and it shouldn't be like that. Whereas when you get married and you were staying with that person forever, and it didn't matter how bad that relationship was, you stayed there and you fought for it.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, back then you did have some men that, and probably women as well, who had their wee bits on the side or whatever else, but they dealt with it. I don't know. There's just a lot of things, and especially the way people talk to each other and all these trolls online, because they think they can just say whatever they want to people. and you've just to accept it. You've just to... I mean, I said it online, I didn't say it to your face, so what's the big deal? You're like,
They think
really?
it disappears online, that's it.
Eh?
They think it disappears online because it's not come out their mouth. It's like...
But the problem is, it stays there forever. It's still words.
Yeah.
You might not be vocally speaking the words, but you're still speaking the words. You've still thought the words and took your time to type them. So you meant that. And whether you want to take responsibility for that's another story. But how did we go on a troll and we were talking about poor wee Joe? So then he was no well.
You've got to be like that, oh, it's a shame of that. Trolls in real life.
Where are we? I mean, 5K in Glasgow. I don't know.
Yeah.
But then you were struggling to get back in time before your dad passed, weren't you? Because you were trying to get flights and everything.
Aye, there was other stuff happening in that.
But that's it. We'll not talk about that unless you want to.
It was nothing to do with the flights, obviously. It was everything that was happening with me and my body.
But you couldn't fly because of what was happening with you.
My scrambled eggs.
She'd scrambled eggs. She'd scrambled... Aye. I've had the eggs as well. They were fertilised just in the wrong place. 2 seconds, stay there, my door. Sorry, my door went. But then it turned out my door never actually went. It was just the layers going through the door. I'm a pure numpty. So, anyway, we were just kind of touching on that because obviously Christmas time, a lot of people struggle. Because they've maybe get somebody, there's my messy house sticking out again, because they've maybe get somebody that they're missing or whatever else. But you're really close to Sheriff's family, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm very lucky when it comes to Sheriff's family.
And for all, they don't celebrate Christmas, they celebrate it because you, well, not celebrate it, but they kind of get in on the celebrations
they
with
go
you, don't they?
For me
and
the kids, aye.
Which a lot of people that marry into like different cultures or whatever else that are different for how they normally live their life or different from their beliefs, they don't always get involved. Sometimes they maybe just be like, well, that's your thing, so you go on with your thing and we'll just do our thing. But you've been lucky that way.
Oh, I'm very lucky that way. Like his family get right on board with it. Like they talk about Santa to the kids. They write full scale board. His sister especially, she comes running Christmas Eve and we do the matching jammies. She does everything with us. Like it's full.
She's like a second mum back to your kids, isn't she? She's amazing with them.
She is my second mum. Yeah. So like everybody says, oh, like, my family's me, my husband, my kids. No, my family's me, my husband, my sister-in-law, and my kids. She's like, oh.
I was going to say something there, but I'll not say it. I was going to talk about something that you were talking about the other day, but I'm not going to say it because you never know who's listening.
Yeah. No, good thing is they don't really know that much English, so.
No, this was an English person. Actually, it was a Scottish person. So I'm not going to.
Right, okay. Oh, yeah, right. Okay.
So, I just think it's very rude. For one, you fucked off to Turkey. I've not had a ho for a very long time. Don't go there.
Come to Turkey and I'm sure we'll find you, man.
No,
I mean, that's all it's been on the news.
So, who remembers the days of MSN, right? So me and Danielle, when she was in Turkey, before she went there full time, would talk on MSN every night. And she's like, oh, I found a guy for you, a wee Turkish guy. Reminds me of Michael Jackson or something along those lines. His name was Jackson, I don't freaking know. He became my stalker. I couldn't get rid of him. And I hadn't met him.
Right.
Do you remember that?
I remember that.
I'm traumatised. The ho is there. That's a different kind of ho. But yeah, so you said that they celebrate New Year more than Christmas. So what do they do at New Year? Is it different from what we do?
No, it's more or less the same, but they exchange gifts and we would say hogmanay. They exchange gifts and believe that red's a lucky colour to wear going into the new year.
I'm very lucky. I've got red everywhere.
and they have like big street concerts and that, like
Aye.
the New Year's good.
I think New Year here is
Not the
no
same.
what it used to be. Do you remember
Nah.
you used to get, now if you're in Glasgow, if you're in Scotland or no Glasgow or Scotland, you'll know where I'm talking about, but like George Square and then Prince's Street or whatever it's called in Edinburgh, I'm not the biggest fan, so I don't know the names of the streets. There's many reasons for that, partly to do with an ex. Aye, you would have massive concerts. You had Jackie Bird who'd be on BBC One at New Year. Jackie Bird's left, and so is all the concerts.
The thing is, New Year for me, and like me and Sheriff still stick to that tradition. New Year, my granda always wanted you in the house for the bells. You always had to be in the house for the bells.
When I was younger, I was, and then, right, so I'll tell you a story now. Danielle knows, and anybody that knows me knows I can hold a grudge. Like, if I've got a grudge against you, I have a grudge, and I will hold that till the end of time. So, I went out for New Year for the first time when I was 17, 17 and a half, because my birthday's August. But I was going to over 18s since I was 15 and getting into them no bother. So me and my pal, use that word very lightly because it turned out not to be a very good pal, and a load of the boys that we were pals with, one was her boyfriend. We all started off in the one pub, and then me, her and her boyfriend were going into one nightclub, and we were meeting up with all my pals and my cousins in that for where I grew up. And then the rest of the boys went to another nightclub, and that was fine. So, getting to the pub, that was fine. We were all just had a couple of drinks in us, but we weren't drunk or anything like that. And then we all started heading in, because you know what it's like at New Year, you've always got to go in early because the queues are mental. So we walked our way around. Do you remember Bonkers? Eh?
I love Bonkers.
Right, so it was Bonkers. Now, I'd been to Bonkers every weekend, well, not every weekend, but quite a few weekends, and no bother. You tell me why they asked me for ID that one night. Of course, I didn't have ID because I wasn't 18. All my cousins and no, all my cousins, two of my cousins were in there, and all my pals were in there waiting for me. She went in with her boyfriend, her girl boyfriend or Jew. He did say, we can't leave Aileen, because they're in the middle of Glasgow city centre, which, by the way, isn't always the safest place, especially on a Saturday night. But this, I don't know what night this was, but it was New Year's Eve, sorry. So it was absolutely heaving. You can't get a taxi for living on money at New Year in Glasgow city centre.
Right.
She's like, no, it's all right, just come in. They two went in, left me in the town myself. My mum and dad were going to my mum's house for a party. So I had to phone them and say, by the way, I never got in. And she's like, where's this person? And I said, she's in there. So my dad couldn't come and get me because he'd been drinking. My mum didn't drive. She'd have been drinking anyway. And I had to try and get a taxi up the road. So I did eventually get up the road. My mum and dad always had a party on the 2nd of January rather than... So what happened was, with our family, we would spend Christmas Day and New Year's Day with my dad's side of the family, then Boxing Day and the 2nd of January with my mum's side of the family. So New Year's Day, it used to be my dad's gran, and my gran would come over. My dad's uncle, who actually was like his brother because it was his gran that brought him up and not my actual gran. He was in the Merchant Navy, so he was always somewhere in the world. Nobody ever knew where he was, but when he was here, he would come as well. But by this point, my dad's gran had already passed away. She passed away a couple of years before that. So it was my gran and my dad's uncle that were coming on, and that was fine. So then the 2nd of January, we were having a party. Now, before this happened to me on New Year's Eve, I invited this person to this party, right? Now, I clearly was raging with her because I made it known I was raging to her, because anybody that knows the Scottish, we didn't hold back. You get full throttle. some of these might need to Google some of these words or message me and I'll translate.
Yeah.
So, please tell me why she still turned up to my mum and dad's party. I got locked in a room so that I wouldn't just rearrange her facial look. Why did I get locked in the room and she never get back to it? Why did I miss the party? So
basically, you had a right shit New Year that year because you get locked in the room with your own party.
I had my own party in the room. I was pissed. I never spoke to her for, right, so I was 17, I think 21 year. And the only reason I spoke to her is because I had one of my sons or both my sons when she said hello to me, and I won't ever cause a drama in front of my sons unless it's either to do with them or you really get me angry and then God help you. But so I said hello to her. Why does she think she's my pal now? Anyhow, that was that New Year. So I went out then, and then I went out a couple of New Years, but most of the time I stayed in or I was working. Because when
we've still stuck to old tradition. Now I've been with Sheriff now for 14 years, and me and him's never went out New Year. We've never had a New Year, just me and him going out. We always believe you stay in the house with your wains, like what we did.
But that's it. I never had twins, and if I was and I did stay with my mum and dad most New Year's, to be fair, but then my mum and dad split up. We're not getting at that.
My granda, no matter what age we were, if you went out at Hogmanay, you had to be back in that house for the bells, and even go back to my quarters days when I worked in quarters, when I done Hogmanay then, I had to run down the road, as you know, before the bells started, run down the road, go in and have the bells, my granda, and go back up to finish my shift. We always stuck to that.
When I had my first, so nowadays, be grateful for the maternity leave you get in the UK, because I think you get something like a year. In my day, when I first started having kids, you got 12 weeks, and that was if you were lucky. That was if your boss went by the rules. So I worked right up until a week before I had them, just purely so that I could get as much time at the other side. And then when I did go back to work, I went back to work kind of night shift, because I was a single parent by that point. So I worked, my mum was a nurse, so she worked during the day. I would pick her up at 5:30, drop her back down the road, and then I would either start at 6 at night or 10 at night, and she would watch him while I was at work. So in order for me to get Christmas off to spend Christmas with him, I had to work New Year, which didn't bother me, do you know what I mean? Because my mum didn't really do it at New Year anyway. And my Rosemary, she would go out if she wasn't doing it or whatever, or they would go up to theirs and I would pick them up.
Aye, we still stick to tradition. And so our typical Hogmanay now is we all go to Sheriff's mum's. We all have a last meal there as a full family. We all Sheriff's brothers and sisters come if they can make it, and we'll have the last family meal. And obviously, as you know, Sheriff's mum and dad don't know that we have a wee tipple and that we have a wee drink.
Right, so Danielle's nearly 40.
Hey.
Sheriff is a wee couple of years older than me, but we don't say my age, so we'll not say his age.
Oh, so I was alright, but spit Danielle's age right
mum and dad still don't know they two drink. But they don't know he smokes either, do they?
Well, he doesn't smoke anymore. He's given up fags. He's been off fags.
But when he did smoke, didn't they know he smoked?
No, they didn't. It's just a respect.
I think that's hilarious.
So what we do is we have a dinner, and then everybody that's in that house that does like a wee tipple, we all come to my house for the party. So we'll come to my house before the bell, so we can all have
Oh no, I need to talk about this one, but because a couple of weeks ago, was it his sister or his auntie or his cousin or something says to you, come on up for a couple of drinks?
Nice.
And then his auntie seen another side to you?
Yeah. a fun
Because
sight.
what were you saying to the auntie? Tell the world. Tell the world.
Can I discuss that? What part?
Whistle or something.
Oh, the flute.
Aye, that's it.
No, it was a video that she showed me. And
Oh,
it was
that's
about
right.
a wee woman hanging out a washing and seeing a guy playing a flute and the snake stands up and she ran in and played the flute to see if her husband would stand up. So then when her husband was in the hospital, I took a flute to her and says that'll keep you going the night.
That's right. So here, I wonder, think Santa will bring me a flute for my Christmas. I might.
Well, you got to walk up and down the street and play it and see if it stands to attention.
Listen, aye. Listen, I know there's at least one person in my street.
There's Joseph
What happened?
phoning. You bro. Joseph is phoning me.
Joseph, stop it. I'll text him and say, leave it at Joseph, we're busy. Aye, there's at least one person in my street, but I'm not going there. What was I going to say? Aye, Santa needs to sort things out for me because this just isn't funny anymore. I mean, I know it's partly my fault.
We had this conversation last week with Sheriff's sister, Seaham, and she was saying to the kids, maybe we should ask Santa to bring me a husband. And I says, oh, you better
at least start with a boyfriend.
I said, you better not do that. She went, how? And I says, I mean, I asked for a husband and they sent me an elf. So anybody that knows me,
smoked about 40 fags.
Anybody that knows me, Sheriff knows that I'm a bit taller than Sheriff. I'm taller than Sheriff, so aye. So I says, you can't ask for that. I mean, I asked him for that and he sent me an elf, so just in case it happens to her. But then again, I got a good elf.
Oh no! What was it the vegan said this morning when you say to her, "Oh, I'm going on a podcast. I'm going on Aunt Aileen's podcast."
She says, "What you doing that for? How do you think yours two are going to become famous?" Like,
she's brutal. This one would actually tear you apart.
No, but I told you about a couple of months ago what she says to me. Like, she gives you like a backhanded compliment when she says, "Oh, Mum, you look skinny. You've lost weight." And I went, "What's make you say that?" And she went, "Because you've only got 2 chins now, no 3." Like, thanks, sir. Cheers.
I can't cope with her. I really can't. Like, there was one point where everybody thought I pulled a muscle. There's one point where everybody thought they were going to have to sleep with one eye shut because this way was actually going to terrorise them in their sleep. But then she says, "Oh, I know what you two are going to talk about. What was it? How bad you've got it with your children or something like that, or how bad your children are."
I know what you're going to talk about, how naughty your brains are.
Aye, that's what it was. And see, if you were to listen to the two of them talking, she is pure Glasgow.
Aye, she's
the older one,
and she's
not so much.
She
talks quite polite and everything else. She has got a wee twang, but the vegan, nah. She's 100%.
She's the one that's 100%
the way. The East End of Glasgow.
Aye, definitely.
It's like my youngest, like, do you know how you get, like, your kids are half Turkish, half Scottish. My child is half Govan, half where I live, and I'm not saying where I live. So every time anything happens that's no meant to, I'll say, tell you, see, that's the half of Govan in them.
Yeah.
Because we tend to blame fathers for everything, just in case you haven't noticed. Especially invisible ones.
Yeah. It's always that.
That hide behind a uniform, protect herself from an innocent child.
Yeah.
And I'm keeping that bit
in. That.
Eh?
But there's so much more we could say in that.
There is, but we'll keep that for another day.
We could actually go back to like. No, aye, we'll keep it for another day.
I don't want to be an ourself for Christmas and New Year, please, thank you kindly. Aye, so.
I bet you wouldn't mind, Foxy.
Eh?
You wouldn't mind, you might get some action.
yeah, that's an idea. Get your truncheon out. That was one of the things me and Ellie were talking about on the podcast yesterday was, no, the one about today, sorry, was about, she was saying, oh, I wouldn't mind actually getting a jail for a wee while now because I'd get my free meals, I'd have organisation because she's got ADHD. She said I'd have a uniform so I wouldn't need to think about what I'd wear. I says, and you wouldn't have any men to annoy you. She went, well, I don't know these days.
Yeah, that's true.
But right, so we were going to talk about one of the things that we really, really, really want to talk about before we go into the whole friendship thing, right? E.T.
Oh God. E.T. E.T. Christmas.
I was watching E.T. yesterday. I never got to see the full thing because I missed the start of it and missed the mid late and seen the end of it. But so who has watched all these things that in America they've got, it's to do with, they're seeing the drones and they think the government in America know about the aliens coming. And by the way, it's not me, my name doesn't say that, my name says Aileen. And
that's the other day.
No, I'm getting to that, but calm yourself, you're jumping ahead. So, and now they're saying that the drones are in the UK, they've came to Britain, and that there's aliens here. Now, me and Danielle both believe this. I believe this to be true. I mean, if you were to walk about the streets of Glasgow, there's very many.
Do not put me in the same category that I believed what you says. I said something completely different.
No, wait a minute, my hat's gone. I'm not saying you believe what I said. You believe in aliens and UFOs and all that malarkey. So I said that I think one day I'm going to open my door. Well, what I started off was right. I'm trying not to make myself look too stupid here and too woo. So what I actually said was, now I'm not intelligent, and I remind you this all the time. I don't try and kid on that I'm intelligent, but you know, no, I don't know. Like, there was obviously before dinosaurs, and I'm not getting into the Adam and Eve thing because that really confuses me, and Jesus and God confuses me because I'm not a religious person. So let's not go there. But you know, you had dinosaurs, you had cavemen evolved into us, or we evolved. Well, whatever way you say it about, right? Well, I think the next evolution is the aliens. So what I'm thinking is E.T. or E.T. phone home, right? He's going to turn up at my door with my post and he's going to get his wee E.T. phone home, put his finger in my belly button and impregnate me because he thinks that my name says alien, but it's Aileen, and he needs to realise that, and I'm going to give birth to an alien.
This is not at all what I agreed in. So
I never said you agreed with that, but I said you agreed with the fact that aliens.
What I did say is, if there is anything to do with these drones and aliens, they'll probably be looking
aliens.
You, I know, you as well. They would probably be looking down and saying, that place is no normal. Let's just give that a bye. Let's go and look at Mars or something else.
But you also agreed that they were real, so don't even try and make me look as if I'm the only person.
I didn't say they're real. I think there probably is something else.
Right, so you agreed they're real. So when I was talking,
agreeing they're real. That's probably something else.
Look, what kind of pal are you here? See my wee Danny. Danny will get you. So what Ellie said yesterday when I said it to her was, she doesn't think they're the next, like, the sort of evolution of whatever, the next whatever evolution. She thinks that they already exist, but obviously they live, and we're alien to them because they're just another species. But she thinks they're maybe coming down here now. Can't remember exactly what she says because we all know that I'm menopausal and I don't remember very much. So you will need to watch the episode that went out on Monday the 23rd to see what Ellie said. But basically what she said was, and did make a lot of sense, and I do agree with it, is she thinks that they are fae wherever they're fae. So they think that they are normal or human or whatever they think they are, and they think, and we're actually alien to them.
Yeah.
So I do agree with that. But what happens if they decide to come here for a wee holiday and they're like that? What the fuck? And what I said was keep them off social media, because if they find social media, they'll really want to get rid of us all. They will want to take us out at that point, because if you see some of the stuff that people are putting on social media, I'd want to get, yeah.
Oh well, aye. Anyhow, back to the Christmas spirit and get off the aliens.
Right. So, how long have we been friends for?
Oh, I can't remember. It's been that long.
Right, so my
Is it 16,
youngest
17
has
years?
just turned 18 and he was about, what, a year or something?
Aye, about 16, 17 years.
That's a long time to be pals for. I don't tend to keep pals for that long, by the way, so you better count yourself lucky. I get very bored, and it's not even just that I get very bored. See, if I think you're trying to wrong me, like earlier on I said, a lot of people have used my mental health against me to try and gain something for their own advantage, whatever it might be. So the minute I notice that you're at my life, I don't care if you're a friend, enemy, or a family member, you are gone. If I think you're trying to wrong me or my kids, you're gone. If you've got any negative energy, you're gone. I can't be doing with negative energy, because I help people, I don't make things worse. And people that make things worse, which somebody's just realised, I'm my family. Yeah, you're gone. But so you better count yourself lucky that you've been allowed to stay around for that long. I mean, it might help both live in different countries.
Is you met a true pal in me. That's the difference.
There is that. I was going to talk about a story, but I'm not going to talk.
Santa t-shirt. Your own Santa shirt.
Well, speak for yourself. I'm on his ho list. It's got to tickle my fancy when he drops my wee presents off.
You need tickled in.
No, you're not about it. Listen, if somebody tickled my fancy, they wouldn't be allowed back out again. I'd be like, no, sorry, you're staying forever. You're not getting away.
God, you're
floodgate warning it. It's happening, people. An announcement up on the billboard. It's happening. Next is a night.
You're sitting my Christmas hat on, going, it's happening.
Aye, so I used to work, I think I've said it, for an over 18s shop place that done parties. And Danielle came and worked for me. But that's how we first met, because...
That's right, it was a party, wasn't it?
Aye. Danielle was a party guest at one of the parties I'd done. And we became pals. That person didn't like the fact that we were pals, but I'm not getting into how I knew that person, because negative energy and all that. But we became pals. You booked a party after that. I done your party, and then you came and worked for me as well. But by that point, we were already pals. Danielle has seen the whole roller coaster of I'd say love life, but there's a lot of love lost in that life. My mental health, my mental craziness. She's seen me try to build my businesses up. She's seen my two boys grow up. I've seen her kids grow up. Seen her and Sheriff build businesses. Seen her doing her thing in, I was going to say New York, Turkey. But
we've been big parts of each other's journey.
What I will say is,
we've been there for the good, the bad, and the ugly.
See, when Danielle gets into a certain mindset, there's no stopping her. So there was one day that we were in the town. Now, I'm not going to fully explain what you done, because it might offend some people. Let's just say Danielle decided to embarrass me, because she decided. Do you remember that? I actually think that was a Christmas time as well.
It was Christmas, actually.
So she was talking very loud and shouting, and that doesn't normally bother me. But she was, yeah. But Danielle's got a habit of doing that with people. She does it with everybody.
I'm a bit of a prankster. Like, I like a good old prank. And
do you remember at the start of this, she wouldn't say it's Christmas, but
I do like a good prank, and I like a good laugh, and I like to make people laugh round about me.
Mm-hmm.
So when I do put my mind to something, I do it. And 9 out of 10 times I pull it off amazing.
There is that. So we'll go back, right, do you remember? So I think my youngest was about 2 or 3 at this time. And we used to always tell Danielle's mum, he is the pure devil child. Like, he's wild, he's mental. Got to remember, he's autistic, and as he's got older, we've kind of learned how to work with things, and he's not quite as out there as what he was back then, like as in craziness, mental. Listen, you didn't need to break his temper at that point. He just went for you. He would run up and give you a Glasgow kiss. But Danielle's mum used to always say to us, you better stop talking about that way like that. He's a lovely wee boy, blah, blah, blah. But what we used to say to her is, for now, what he does is he reels you in until you get to the point where you trust him and you think he's an angel, and then he gives you full barrels. It comes from all directions. So Danielle's mum used to collect magnets, like for holidays and things like that, didn't she? But they all had a place on our fridge, and you weren't allowed to move them, you weren't allowed to touch them. But my youngest decided, do you know what? I think they would look better looking like this, and decided to move them about and rearrange them. And she's storing doing her dishes, and she's like, oh, son, just leave them. No, that's not for that. And she's trying to be nice to him. He was sitting in the living room at the time, and the living room door was shut. And she, I can't see her laughing. All she kept hearing was Danielle's mum like trying to tell him not to move it, but she was trying to say it's so nice, God love her. And then the next thing, I can't remember what she says to him, and it just went like that. It's studied her right across the ass. But we heard
we didn't know that. We heard something and I went, no, surely
and
no,
all she heard was, oh my God, oh my, and she's came in and she's, I thought he was a nice wee boy and blah, 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 and he's back in my house and he's just sitting there laughing. And we're like, well, we did tell you he wasn't an angel. You didn't believe us. No, he showed you. But that story kills me every time. Like, I can't tell it for laughing.
It was just the sound, and I went, no, surely no. And she came in, she was, he's just. And I went, did they do that? Well, we did warn you. And I went, we heard that. And she went, did you hear it? Well, I felt it.
Oh, that, I know, that was a cracker, that one. So, when somebody tells you their child is the devil, believe them. But I know there's been quite a few. What else have we done?
Well, we've done loads, then.
We, I just don't know.
So get back to the exciting news. Because we need to keep some of your stories.
Aye, right. So I told you, right, so what I said was, we're going to give half an announcement the day. How long have you got left before you need to go and do your school pickup?
Well, the school pickup's getting done as we talk.
All right, okay. What time? Oh, Jesus, it's at the time. Right, we'll go quick. We've got half the announcement, and then we're going to do the other half of the announcement in the new year. Is it season 1 on episode 2? No, season 2, episode 1. I think we're going at the second half of the announcement. So how do you want to go about it? How can we have this in too? I don't know how to do it.
And you're there.
Right, so basically, me and Danielle are going to be collaborating, no, doing a joint, something together in the new year.
Yeah.
And it's something that will include everybody. So everybody will hopefully enjoy it. I don't know what else I can say without actually saying what it is.
Well, we don't need, that could be fine. So just to keep your eyes peeled for what's going to happen in the new year, and you'll get the rest of what's going to happen. But it'll be something for everybody.
It will be. It's also going to be something else that we need to find time to do, because like I said, Danielle, they've got their own business, so they've got like a shop in Marmaris, but they ship worldwide. They've got 2 kids, they've got family, but Danielle, during peak season, well, all summer, they what, April to what, October,
April, October, yeah.
she does singing. So it used to be when she first went to Marmaris, it used to be that she would sing in the bars and things like that. She was like basically the karaoke singer in the bars. But now her boss has took on this ship, hence the singing pirate. And it's like a big pirate ship. I mean, I didn't realise how big it was when she was telling me about it until I seen the photos and the videos. It's massive. I've been on pirate ships on holiday, and this thing's about twice the size, 3 times the size.
Yeah. We're quite a famous pirate ship.
Ship? Are you sure? Ship.
Pirate ship in Marmaris. We're the largest pirate ship in Marmaris.
I mean, there's no need to brag. I'm kidding on.
Well, of course it's large. I'm on it.
Danielle likes big things. But
I'm heavy.
Aye, so Danielle, so what is it? You've got a DJ on the top deck and you're in.
So our pirate ship's actually 3 floors, and on the middle floor we have a DJ, right, which does like nightclub music. Like this is nighttime. Daytime's a party boat, is completely different. Nighttime is we have our DJ in the middle where like you can have a dance, enjoy yourself, and then on the bottom floor we do karaoke. But again, I do some live singing in the middle floor to start it off, and then we go down to karaoke, and then we end with some animations and shows, and yeah.
You had a mermaid at one point, didn't you?
Yeah, we did have a mermaid at the start of the year, but unfortunately it didn't really work out.
Well, see, I was worried about her because I was wondering, one, how was she going to survive outside water? And 2, when she went into the water, how was she going to load her in? Because mermaids don't live outside water, so they've no legs. So how was she going to move about? Just saying.
She did put a lot of work in that wee mermaid. She was phenomenal. Like, our tail was next to none.
Could you use her tail for something else?
No, really. Like, to be honest, I used to be quite scared about that getting into the water and that, because
Danielle didn't get what I meant then, I don't think.
I did get what you meant, but I don't know how, because the fins are...
Cut them off, trim them down.
If you could fit that tail in your hen, I'd be really, really worried.
Listen, I think I'm born again. I think it's closed up.
Well, definitely not having fun with your tail.
But then you find a lot of people that come on the boat that are maybe Turkish, and they see that you're Scottish, they think that you don't know what they're saying, don't they? And they think they can talk about you or to you the way they want until you start doing your...
That happens everywhere. It doesn't just happen in the boat. It happens everywhere. Like, when, no matter what country you're in, when you're a foreigner living abroad, and if you here comes trouble.
Oh no!
She's shouting Merry Christmas. If you're a foreigner living abroad, and then people just assume that you don't understand their language or speak their language, and it's actually quite good and funny when...
See, I used to go out with a guy who, you know this anyway.
Now, I'm busy just now. Can you give me 5 minutes, please? I'm living.
Hi, Smelly.
And Aileen saying hi.
Uh-oh. That is the face of the devil. I'll try and put a thing of that, but I don't know how to do it.
Right. See, this is what happens.
Right, 2 minutes and we're going to be finished.
Right, good. Stop it. See what I mean?
Right.
Right.
Right. Danielle now needs to be a mother, so we'll just leave it at that. But season 2, episode 1, which comes out on the 8th of January, will tell you everything then. We were trying to fit it on before Double Child came in for school, but thank you very much for coming on.
No worries. I hope everybody has a lovely Christmas.
You too. I mean, I will speak to you in about 10 minutes probably. But
yes,
tell Devil Child I'll phone her shortly.
Yeah.
Well, enjoy the rest of your day with your child. And I will speak to you.
Right.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.